Every single day, like right now, just now, bam, bam, bam. Someone is getting a phone call. Sorry, but your father died in a car crash. Sorry, your mom got diagnosed with cancer. Sorry, this happened, that happened. Bam, bam. Literally, right now, as I speak, every single second, something like this happens. So, speaking of relationships, lesson number 4, appreciate loved ones while they are still around. And I wanted to put it here because this is something I talked about on the Nomad Cruise. And a lot of people actually started crying after this. Now, I don't want to make you cry now. I don't have that much time, to go in depth into it. But I want to mention this because, again, this is something a lot of us don't think about. A lot of us, we appreciate people, but we don't tell them. We don't say, I love you, I appreciate you, I'm thankful. Like, how often do we say this? Even to our family members. Now, I know some of you here, you probably do it all the time, but there are a lot of people who never say it. And I used to be one of them. So, and I'm going to share with you something, and it's strange to share. It's very strange to share this. Live stream going on. I don't know who is watching this. And this is something that's very personal, but I want to get personal because I want you to relate to this and I want you to take action. So in my family, we never said, I love you. We never shared emotions. We never said, hey, mom, dad, I love you, son, I love you. Never. Does it mean we don't love each other? No. My parents were always good parents. They always tried to do their best, but we never said it. We never said it. And at some point, as you get older, you start wondering, why is that? Why can't we say this? What's in there? There must be some trauma, right? We all have traumas. So one time I went to a conference, and this one guy, the speaker, was sharing a story how he never said, I love you to his father. And then eventually he found the courage after many, many years to say, Dad, I love you. And his father said, son, I love you too. And then a few years later, his father died. I think he was 60 or 70 years old. It was like long time they haven't spoken. And he said that he was happy he expressed his emotions, but he also regretted that he was waiting for so long. Like, what took him so long? It's his father. Like, why wait so long? So after his speech, I walked up to him. I'm like, hey, man. Hey, amazing talk. Really enjoyed it. I knew the guy. I'm like, hey, I really resonated with the story you shared because this is something that I have in my family. We don't share emotions. And you know what he did? He's a very good coach. You know what he did? He said, hey, Jimmy, you know what you got to do right now? You know what you got to do? I'm like, I don't know. What do I have to do? He's like, come on, man. Come on. You keep traveling. You jump off bridges. You surf. You do all types of crazy stuff. You say you like to push your comfort zone. This is the comfort zone push. This is what you got to do. You know what you got to do. You got to go back to your hotel room and you got to talk to your family. And I was like, wow. My heart started beating faster, anxiety in my stomach. And I think the reason was that I kind of decided to commit to it. I decided to take on a challenge. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. Shook hands, I'm going to do it. So I'm on my way back to the hotel. I vividly remember I stopped by the petrol station. I got a bottle of wine, right? I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not like, I know there's stories before about drinking. Don't get me wrong. I actually drink very little nowadays, but I needed that bottle of wine. So I got a bottle of wine and I went to the hotel and I'm like, okay, let's do it. Had a glass, cheers to myself, sat down on the bed, took my phone, nothing happened. Waited 1 hour, nothing happened. I had to drink that entire bottle to get myself to do it. And I was thinking to myself, wow, I get on stages to speak in front of a lot of people. I make videos. I literally jump off bridges, 150-meter bridge in the Himalayas. Yeah, let's do it. I can't get myself to do it. What is wrong with me? But eventually I push myself and rather than calling them, I sent a long audio message to my parents because I wanted it to be there. I wanted them to be able to listen to it. And rather than just saying, hey, I love you, I went into it. Just like now I'm getting into it, I have this tendency when I get into something, I just keep going. So I told them not only that I love them, but I told them what I appreciate about them. And I told them some stories from the childhood, and I also told them what I didn't like. And I told them what caused some type of little traumas in my head, but also I forgave them for it. It was a 20-minute message. It was crazy. My father called me. He said, your mom was really stressed out at the beginning of the message. She was thinking, maybe you want to commit suicide, It's one of those, because I started, because, I'm drunk. I'm sitting there. Just imagine, hey, what I'm going to say may sound a bit strange, but I really need to share with you. I really love you. So just imagine this, right? Just imagine it. It's hilarious. Right now, I would be embarrassed to listen to that message, but that's good, right? That's good. That means that you're pushing yourself. And to make the long story shorter, let's say, that revolutionized my relationship with my family completely. Revolutionized the relationship. And before that situation, I always had that fear. What if something happens? What if my parents have a car crash or something happens to me? And we never shared how we felt about each other. And after that situation, I'm not saying that I'm like, okay, whatever happens, I'm cool with it. No, of course not. I want them to be okay. But at least now I know if something happens, there is nothing hidden. There is no burden that I haven't released, okay? So I want to challenge you. Some of you, okay, there are different groups of people here. I'm not going to even ask you to raise your hands, but I know some of you here are listening to this and you're thinking, okay, cool, that's a cool story, inspiring. But me and my parents, we always say, I love you, I love you. We say it all the time. I get it. Some people, if you're conditioned like this from a little kid and your parents tell you, I love you all the time, that's normal. But I would literally bet everything I own that there are some of you here, probably at least 10, 20%, maybe even more. And you're listening to this and you're thinking, wow, maybe that's what I should do. I never tell people that I love them. It feels awkward. I have some type of trauma, I can't do it. If you're one of those people, I challenge you. It's gonna feel uncomfortable, but I challenge you just to pull the trigger. Just do it today. Do it today. Could be a text message. Could be a video call, an audio call. Could be anything, but express yourself. Express yourself, because we often think that people will live forever, right? You may look at your grandma and you think, well, she's 70 years old. She probably has maybe 10 years to live, right? 10 years is a long time. Well, it's not a long time when you visit her once a year. If you visit her once a year, that's 10 times you're gonna see her. In the best case scenario, 10 times. And of course, she's diminishing, right? Her capabilities, the intellectual capacity, all of that is just diminishing. So you have just a few years with your grandma. You don't have 10 years, you have a few years. Now, when you think about it this way, everything changes. And every single day, like now, right now, just now, bam, bam, bam. Someone is getting a phone call. Sorry, but your father died in a car crash. Sorry, your mom got diagnosed with cancer. Sorry, this happened, that happened. Bam, bam. Literally right now as I speak, every single second, something like this happens. So I want to encourage you to just speak your truth and tell people how you feel about it.